This is something that Melinda Tuna brought to my attention quite a while ago. There is a kind of an abandoned site outside of the emergency room at the hospital complex. And it borders right by crooked ponds, tennis courts, and pool. And there are one or two houses that are along that fence line. There's a developer who actually lives here, and they are putting forth a proposal to demo that site completely and put up 128 workforce housing units. And with a target of nurses, technicians, teachers, firefighters, police officers, and service providers. So it's working its way through the town's process. But we're going to have Keith do a presentation on that development at the July coffee. So if you're interested in that, please come to July coffee. We'll have more information. Okay, we continue to make improvements to the bocce courts. Pavers are going in there. We're going to do something about Signet Court and overflow parking. And we're going to slowly transition to, you can only get there from the parking lot up here. And it's going to come in phases. And it involves putting a pipe across the ditch that separates those two parking areas. So stay tuned for that. Security has stepped up enforcement on speeding tickets and going through stop signs. Most of you say good until you get a speeding ticket or go through a stop sign. And then you call me and said, they gave me a speeding ticket or a ticket for going through a stop sign. I don't fix tickets. So they have stepped up enforcement. And someone came in the door today and said, well, there's a California stop. You're not in California. I don't know if California has a stop. All right. Front end loader needs a new wiring harness, and the wood hog needed a good new oil cooling complex. And David already is working on that. The oil thing for the wood hog is already repaired. RV boat storage area is fully occupied except for a couple of kayak spaces. You can see how well Pippi is doing with advertising 25 to 24. We thought it was going to slack off because this time of year, they start to target the tourists and, they don't kind of leave us aside because they don't need us during the tourist season, but it continues to grow. And I think we're thinking about expanding the pages to 48 for Plantation Living because there's enough copy and enough advertising to do it. So, all right, new patio furniture upstairs. This is the Tower of Funk concert. These are always fun. That will be here. Group tour of the Portugal. This is about, I think, the third trip we've done. We've done Iceland, we've done Italy, and we've done Ireland. And we're going to do Portugal next. And there's 31 people signed. They do it through Colette. And I've gotten lots of positive feedback about these trips. So if you're interested, check in with Jen or Chrissy. And I'm going backwards instead of forwards. July 4th, we need volunteers. We do this here. It's a huge party. Kids have a blast. The adults have a blast. And if you'd like to volunteer, you get a free t-shirt and you get invited to the volunteer party at the end of the year. So that's should be motivation enough. With the July concert is Steve and the Ear Candy Band. Anybody know Steve was on some TV program where he got elevated to some high mucky muck position. I think he came, what is it, Mark? The Voice. And we couldn't get him for a couple of years because he was under contract. And now that he's out with The Voice, his price is more than doubled. And Chrissy's going to figure out a sponsor to help us pay for that concert, but he's going to be here doing a concert in July. The board just awarded the paving contract, and it's all side streets that are going to be done. You can check with David and I on which streets we've done, and then they're going to do the cut and fill work, the patchwork as well. It's close to $700,000 worth of work. Somebody asked me, are you going to pave Whooping Crane Way this year? No, that's going to be $1 million. So, we're going to work with that one until the very end because that's going to be an expensive one to do. Plantation House. we've gone through the project. Kyle Theodore is here. Kyle's on the board of the rec center, but she also is a principal with Wooden Partners who's working on this project with us. And the members of a steering committee put together a wish list. And we gave the wish list to Kyle and the architect and the engineer. And naturally, when you put a wish list together, you get them to put everything on the wish list. Well, the wish list came back with a price tag, and now the board is saying, well, maybe we need to rethink this. So board is going to have a workshop. They're going to come up with a number and say, we want you to build to this number. I don't know what that number is going to be yet, but I know it's not going to be the number that first came out, because we will all be in servitude for quite some time if that's the case. Spring Lake Racket Club, they have been asked to do the National Junior Special Olympics, and that'll be in October, and Trevor's working on the scheduling for that. The canvas tennis shelters, we're going to put metal on those, and David is actually going to buy the metal, and the Surrey on Surrey Lane is up for replacement next year. And what we think we're going to do is I'm going to try and convince the board to allow me to buy the metal for all of those structures at the same time to get a group price. They don't know that yet. Now you do ahead of them. So David and I have been working back and forth on that. So we'll see how that transpires. But the metal roofs should last, virtually forever. They don't wear out very easily, not in the lifetime. There should be a security report in there, leisure path repairs. We have doubled the amount of money on leisure path repairs. And the question now is just getting a darn contractor in here to do the work. There's really only one or two contractors that do it. They're both totally unreliable. If you have a contract that you think can help us out, great. But they, small jobs like that, and even, $100,000, $120,000 worth of work is small potatoes to a lot of these contractors. You just can't attract them. Our road contract, which is, $750,000, doesn't attract people. It's hard to get people to bid on it. Kids Camp is at capacity. There's a cookie social coming up if you have grandkids or kids in that. I'm not going to go all through the Kids Camp stuff. If you have a grandchild or a child that's a lifeguard, we want them. So please, and Chrissy is still looking for camp counselors. These are all the facility statistics. If you're interested, I'm not going to go over them with you. Pine Island, at the end of this, I'm going to bring up a separate presentation. Melinda and Patsy both hosted meetings on beach renourishment. And Melinda's was the most recent, and they're still waiting on the permits for the groins, I believe. Am I correct in that, Melinda and Patsy? But the beach renourishment, we have the permits in hand. We should have the permits on the groins, I'm told, anytime now. We're first. We get the dredge to dump the sand on the beach first. Out of all the projects on the whole island, we're first. When we do this in August, it will shut down the parking lot adjacent to Pine Island, because they'll lay down equipment. They'll have heavy equipment there. They're not going to truck in the sand. The sand will be pumped in, but they will use a lot of the heavy equipment to move and groom the sand, and then obviously place the rock once the groins are approved. So just be forewarned that that area will get shut down. When it's done, when I show you these preliminary pictures, you'll see how extensive it is. Arrowwood Road and Windflower Way drainage project. That has been approved. Malthus Construction is supposed to start. And the problem is the company that does the line locations for the utilities doesn't have enough people to mark the lines. And like everybody else, they can't hire enough people. So as soon as the utility lines are marked, Malthus will be in here. This is a town project that, and I say this tongue in cheek because Melinda and Patsy know what I'm going to say. The town ran out of money for this fiscal year. So they said, Peter, you guys do the project and we'll reimburse you after the July fiscal year, which is a month or two away. We didn't want those folks to wait, so we're going to do the job. The board approved it, and then we'll give the town the bill and they'll reimburse us. All right, we can continue to work on the Engage and enumerate software. We still have accounting to bring in. We went to a new software package for payroll, and we're making inroads to integrate that into the new system. There's no software system that does everything, and we found that out. So we have to come up with creative ways to make it all come together. This is all about Dolphin Head. That is by far, the board asked me, how much do you make on Dolphin Head? So far about $30,000. I mean, it's booked. And Jen, correct me if I'm wrong, every weekend for the rest of the year, close to it. I mean, it's popular for everything. So they want to get married there. They want to have their kids party there. They want to have retirement parties there. It is just a very, very busy spot. And obviously, we've moved several of the smaller concerts there as well. So if you're interested in renting that, get out way ahead. I'm going to go through these real quick because I want to just go over this real quick. If you own a weapon, and newbies, you're in South Carolina, guns, dogs, and pickup trucks, not necessarily in that order, are the most important thing. Lots and lots of people have guns. And in South Carolina, you don't need a permit to carry a gun around. You cannot carry a gun on open space. You can transport it, but you can't open carry it on our property. You can transport it across the property. You can't open carry it on our property. But out there, we presume that if we stop a vehicle, they have a gun in the car. We presume if we go into somebody's house, they have a gun in the house, and you just have to do that. So just be aware of that. If you own a gun, you have a responsibility to make sure it's locked up and secured. And, we've been very, very lucky, but a couple of years ago, we had folks who left a loaded firearm in the glove compartment of their car and left their car unlocked, and kids went in and took the gun. So you need to be responsible. Make sure it is secured, both for your safety, your kids' safety, your grandkids' safety, and everybody else's safety. And I go over this every single time about alligators. They're here. They're not going anywhere. I cannot get rid of them all. They're protected. So don't do dumb stuff. If you have a little dog or a big dog and you walk it close to the lagoon, you're taking a huge chance. Do not do that. That is food to them. And, people have gotten into situations where the alligator go after the dog, and then they go after the alligator, and they, potentially get into a conflict. Keep the dogs away from the water, and don't let them swim in a lagoon. I mean, it's like chumming. Don't do that. Don't harass them. Don't feed them. We had alligators, snakes, raccoons, coyotes, you name it, it's here. We even have armadillos now. They're all here. And the security deals with them as best they can. And this time of year, a couple of calls a day about alligators, taking them out of people's pools, the front yards, garages, and we do that. But just be aware that they're here and they're not going to go away. If they're aggressive, we will have to euthanize them. You can't relocate a alligator that's aggressive. It has to be put down by law. These are compliments of our illustrious board president. You can see what was going on that is the February, and then you can see the difference here. You can see the months of inventory has gone up, just a little bit different. And indulge me for 1 second. Let me see if I can end this thing. All right. This is the town's work, their consultant. And if you look at that red line, that is where the shoreline was back in 2012. Scroll that up for me, Todd. All right. Now you can see 2018, where the line is. 2023, where the line is. All right. And this is what they want to do. They want to move that far beyond that line, the green line and the edge of it. That's where the beach is going to be placed. And you can see those structures in there are T-shaped groins that will be installed after the sand is put in. But you can see how far back that shoreline has migrated. All right. Move it up one more, Todd. Okay, it gives you more of a visual. Now, low tide, you'll probably see the top, there'll be rock groins, and that's the idea is to keep that sand in place, number one. And then the ones that are parallel to the shoreline are there to break the wave action, slow it down. That's where most of the erosion occurs, from the wave action coming up. And then it holds it in place. This is by far the largest project that we've done on Pine Island, and it's on the town's dime. So, I mean, and once it's done, it's going to be really a huge improvement to that whole area. Is there one more below that, Todd, or is that, no, that's it. That's it. Oh, gee. Yeah, but you know, it runs from that rocky point all the way where you see those down trees at the end of the isthmus. I believe it's going to be in excess of 180,000 cubic yards of sand. You know, close to 200,000 cubic yards.
That's being pumped from the sound?
Yep.
Beyond the sound?
Yep. It's there is a borrow area that the town has identified, and they've used that site on several occasions. In fact, I think they're going to use the same site for all of the renourishments. And they pump it from that location all the way here. And that dredge pumps unbelievable amount of sand in a very short period of time, way more than we can truck in, and far less expensively than we can truck in. But you know, but be aware obviously when they're doing this, this is not going to be a safe area for people to be walking around and so on and so forth. So, you know, please be patient, you know, while they're working on it. And when it's done, you are going to have an unbelievable, wonderful asset down there once again. So just wanted to share that with you. I had one more thing, and I forgot what the heck it was. 278. Yeah, I feel your pain. I've got a Band-Aid on my head because I went to see the the dermatologist yesterday, and he did a little, as I'm sure many of you have had as well. And Chrissy and I drove off the island at 7 o'clock in the morning, and everything was backed up, you know, all the way to Lowe's. And they finished me up, thank God, by 9 o'clock, and it was still backed up from Lowe's going over the bridge. This went from 2 bridges in both directions to 1 bridge in only the eastbound direction, to the state infrastructure bank saying, no, we're not going to give you any money because our money was for 2 lanes. We're not going to give you any money. We're only going to fix the 1 span of the bridge. To I'm told that we're going back to the 1 lane coming, the 1 bridge coming back over, only eastbound. But there's also a vibe that the state would be very, very foolish not to build both spans of the bridge at the same time, given the mobilization costs and so on and so forth. So I'm told that in the next 15, 20 days, there'll be more of a definitive solution offered. The other thing that desperately needs to be done is some improvement to the intersections between the base of the bridge and Spanish Wells Road. Those 3 traffic lights are a huge part of the problem. And the reason why we can't get people to locate utility lines, I have a double of a time bringing in staff and hire security officers and getting folks to work, is because of the traffic on the bridge. And it's only going to get worse, and the employment situation is only going to get worse as Hardyville blows up. It is the fastest growing area in our part of the country. And if people can go to work there rather than come all the way here, they're going to go work there. We're already paying a premium in wages to work on the island, and it's only going to get worse. So we need to make it as easy as possible for folks to commute over that bridge. And, you know, some people say it's those darn tourists. It's not the tourists Monday through Friday at 7 o'clock in the morning. Those are all the people that cut your grass, do your HVAC, do your electrical work, do your plumbing. All of those service providers come over that darn bridge. And what they hate to do is they come over the bridge and then they don't have a bloody part and they got to go back over the bridge to get the part. It's a pain in the butt. And it costs every single one of us because you can't get people to work. And again, you pay a premium for everything on the island. So I would urge you to speak to your elected officials, both state, town, and county, and encourage them to look at that corridor, as well as obviously the state looking at the bridge project. This is going to be interesting couple of days ahead of us. I don't know what to write about it because I don't have a definitive answer yet. So anyone have a question before I turn this over to Island Rec City? Yes, ma'am. Yeah, you. Yeah.
I'm asking a question about security and the stepped up enforcement on speeding along the speedway right out here. And my question is, what can we do to control speeding along this road right here? And for the crossing at the pedestrian crossing, you literally take your life in your hands out there. I'm from a place where you stop if somebody's in a crosswalk, but that is not the case here. So is there anything we can do to reduce the speeding directly here? And can the crosswalks be designated as stop at the crosswalk or some other way to cross safely?
We observe state law, and state law says that the motor vehicle has the right of way. Now, if someone is in the intersection, obviously they are obligated to stop. But unlike other states, in South Carolina, if someone's standing on the edge of the road and puts 1 foot on the crosswalk, other states are obligated to stop. And other times, you're not here. And telling people that you should walk into the middle of the road when a car is coming is ill-advised because someone's going to get hurt. And we're a melting pot of many different jurisdictions. And if you listen to what I had said before about stepped up enforcement of giving out tickets, we're going to give out more tickets. And that's going to happen. And that's going to obviously tick some people off. But, you know, if you're speeding, you're going to get a ticket. And Vanessa's been given direction that, you know, that is a priority. And there are some folks who are courteous who will stop their motor vehicle. The problem with that is someone stops in one direction, the car coming in the other direction doesn't know that. Sometimes they block the person's view and you can end up with a dangerous situation. So I appreciate people's courtesy, but bear in mind that when you stop in one direction, if the other lane doesn't stop, you may end up setting up that pedestrian for an accident. The solution is slow down. No other practical solution other than, you know, if you want me to assign and hire, you know, crossing guards, and that's probably not going to happen.
Quick question. When you were talking about the wish list for the plantation house, I'm confused. Has the decision been made yet to rehab or to replace?
Kind of, sort of. Yeah, the price to rehab the building and the price to build a one-story building was $500,000 difference. And no, there was not been a definitive decision made, but I would think that they'd be leaning toward a new building. but I can't say that for a fact because that's up to the board. Sir, all the way over here.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody's noticed, there's a pretty good sized pothole, probably 6 by 2 or 3 feet next to 53 Santa Maria. And I've gone in it once and I don't want to go in it again.
Okay. Is it in the road surface?
Yeah, it's on
Okay.
the right-hand lane going toward Seabrook.
Okay. Is David still back there, Jeff, or did he bug out? Are you aware of that one, David? It's on the list to be repaired? Okay. Who else had their hand up? Joan?
During rehab of a plantation house, where would we meet?
Great question. Great question. We haven't figured that out yet. You know, and we'll also have to figure out where we're going to put Jen and Sean, you know, if we tear the building down. They want to trail it down at Dolphin Head. That's what they want. But it's a great, you know, for our meetings, we may have to, you know, rent space or use the school facility or something along the library, something along those lines. Sir?
I'm not a sir.
Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am.
Notice me in front of this group.
I apologize sincerely.
What I'm trying to find out is how many existing lawsuits we have against the Hilton Head Plantation, and also how many have been resolved.
Oh. 3? 2? 2. Two are active and 2 have been closed.
In what time frame? But we obviously over the years.
Yeah. And I'm probably talking in the last 3 or 4 years. That answer your question, ma'am?
Yes.
And again, I apologize. Other questions? Yes, ma'am. Yes, we just talked about that this morning.
Question was, is there
Yeah,
going to be a mosquito
we're
spray?
looking at Monday night to do it. That's right, Jeff? Oh, we're gonna do it Friday night? Okay, we're gonna do it tomorrow night. Yep. Yes, sir.
This is just a question for security. I'll stand up. I won't need that. I live down by the Dolphin Head Plantation. I'm not sure where she went. I know, she's there. We're talking about
She's out on the back deck
Okay.
talking, but Larry's here.
Larry. I live down here. I know you, Larry. Everybody knows you, Larry. Miss your smiling face at the guard tower. I was down at Dolphin Head today, walk with a friend of mine, and 3 young teenagers came by on electric bikes on the bike pass.
Read that.
We asked them to settle down after being insulted with profanity and
Mhm.
hurled racial epithets at us. What can I do?
Call security.
They're gone by then.
Now, they did, I know, I read that report and I know they were dispatched in by the time they got down there. You know, other than, you know, IDing them, you know, we ask you not to engage with them, obviously, and get into any type of altercation, but call security. We will catch them if they do it again.
Okay.
Anyone else before I turn it over to Frank in the Island Rec Center? All right, Frank, you're on. Very, very pleased to have Frank Soule. If you have complaints about the turkey trot, okay, on Thanksgiving morning, okay, that you forgot your cranberry sauce and the road is closed and you can't get the Publix because they're open only until 10, now's your chance to get Frank. Now, I've set him up, obviously.
I was just going to thank you how much the turkey trot actually helps us. And I do have a slide that talks about scholarships and allowing us the opportunity to have that race in here allows us to provide hundreds of kids and families with help for participating in programs. So now you can complain. So I want to do a couple introductions. This is Leah Artle. Leah's been with us for 20 years and will be stepping into my shoes on this January 1st. And I thought she was doing the presentation, but then I got here and I sat down. She goes, well, this is what we're doing. And I go, what? So, but really, we have a quick slideshow. This is a slideshow we give to our new employees, new board members, and others. But I do want to recognize somebody that I see a lot of familiar faces. But Larry, are you still here? There he is, the basketball player. Goes from the rec every day. That's you. So he's got a great jump shot, and I watch him, and I'm envious of him because I get to watch him go in there and shoot hoops every day. Because I used to be a hooper about 30 pounds ago, but I love the fact that, and I know there's a couple others that come to the rec every day and work out, and I greatly appreciate your support. Talk a little bit about the Island Rec Association. We actually started in 1977 by the local Rotary Club. It's now the Art League building on Cordillo, but it was actually built by the Rotary Club and fundraising, and that's kind of where we started from. And from there, and the Rotary Club, they recognized the fact that Hilton Head was growing and the need to have additional recreation programs. And so we expanded from the Island Youth Center Board to the Island Recreation Association Board. We're board of directors, and I'll talk about that later. But as we kind of went to the next step, that's how the original rec center was built in 1988. And just kind of fun fact, it was built by accommodations tax, which probably would never happen again today. But the association's board of directors at the time made the first application, and that's how we began our business. And being at the school complex was probably one of the best things that happened to this community. There was a couple different locations that we were originally supposed to be at. We ended up at the school, and there's a lot of great programs that we have that interact with the school. But as Lee and I travel around and talk to our peers in other parts of the country, we talk about where our offices are located. And we say the school complex, and they're extremely jealous that we have that opportunity. For those of you who've been here lately, we were able to expand the Island Rec Center, which opened up. To that number, it's hard for me to believe because 2019, it's hard for me to believe that we're almost 6 years into that. To me, it's still brand new, and I love it every day going there. But it really kind of where we're at, and we went from having a single gymnasium, couple of multi-purpose rooms. One of those multi-purpose rooms had a childcare, and then we grew into where we are today, and I'll talk about that later. Part of the unique situation that we have too is that actually we also have a nonprofit group called People for Parks, and that's our capital group. And we've raised money throughout the years for other things in the community. Crossings Park is a prime example. The baseball fields there, we raised money for that back in the day, but then most recently was for the upfitting of the Island Rec Center. The Kiwanis Club and other groups were very instrumental in that. The Van Lanningham Rotary Club. I guess I'm ready for it. Once again, being a nonprofit, we kind of have a lot of unique partnerships. And one of our longstanding partnerships is with the town of Hilton Head. That happened in 1986. That partnership began. And that also was with the construction of the first building at the Island Rec Center. We're right now, we just recently signed a new MOU for 10 years, but as you know, we've been providing recreation programs to the community. One thing about where the Island Rec Center sits, it sits on school property. So it kind of creates another three-way partnership, not only with the town for us to manage that building, but also with the school district. And so we have a relationship with the school district, and part of that relationship is a mutual use agreement. We give swim lessons, the school comes over and uses it for practices, but we can also utilize their fields, their buildings. For example, we have a youth football program. We get to have the games in the stadium. They have a field called the Swamp. That's where we do a lot of lacrosse and soccer programs in the summertime. But you can see also, lastly, really community organizations are really our bread and butters, and those relationships are so important to us. Pocket Full of Sunshine, Children's Relief Fund, just to name a few. I talked about the Kiwanis Club, Boys and Girls Club, all these groups that you see here, somehow we have programs and activities with at the rec center on a daily basis. When we break down our organization, we have 17 board members. There are people from out the community. Kyle was mentioned earlier. We have an executive committee that goes with that, and that's the president. and vice president. We have treasurer, secretary, and the media past president. We have a program committee. All these committees meet on a monthly basis, and they're all made up not only of board members, but the 17, but staff, but also we have an advisory board of about 25 people. So we get lots of input on our activities and things that we do. We have a program committee that meets monthly. They review our programs. Our staff kind of tells the committee what we've been doing that month in programming. But we also look at evaluations of programs and evaluations of what we do on a regular basis, whether it be a swim lessons, soccer program, senior trip. We evaluate all those programs and we review those. Community engagement, that's some of the reason why I'm here. So community engagement is a new program for us, and part of that was to get myself, board members, and other people out in the community to talk about what we do, because it's really so unique and really kind of telling our story, and this is an opportunity for us to do it here today. We have a human resources committee, whoops, and then a fund development. So fund development is our budget committee. HR committee is fairly obviously what we do, but a fund development not only looks at what we do budget-wise, what we do with capital improvements, but also how we get sponsorships. Sponsorships, not only for youth teams, but for events and activities, are very important to our operations. This is our chart. It's going to all change in January. But so we'll skip over that. How about that? But let's go back to it, because I think it's kind of unique in the fact that we do have 19 full-time employees. When I came here, there was 3 of us. So this is how we've grown with the community. We're getting ready to update that all, but we have really kind of grown with the community and excellent opportunities. Typical payroll week is not only 19 salary people, but we can have anywhere in the winter time from 25 to 30, but we're going to go to over 100 beginning next week with our summer camps and stuff. One thing that we do is with our partnership with the town does provide us with a grant every year, fundraising support, with support of our budget. Our budget this year will be a little over about $3.8 million. The town will provide us with about 35% of that. The rest of it will be done through program fees, fundraising, and other activities. Leah does a great job in writing grants and other things like that. So that means that we're responsible for 65% of our budget, and that's the fees that we collect on a regular basis. This is actually last year's numbers. We have not updated that yet because I didn't know that I was giving. Leah was doing this today, but that's where we are. We break down our rec center. We have several program items, but really outdoor, I'll start at the bottom and work my way up. Outdoor rec is new to us. We're actually 3 years into it. A lot of our programs are out of the Sailing and Rowing Center, but we're also disc golf. We're also utilizing the Mid-Island track. We're also out on the beach and doing surf lessons. We had an after-school program this year down at the Sailing and Rowing Center. We have kayak storage. So we really kind of jumped into that. It was a need that we saw in the community, and we entered into that, which is what I consider, and you'll hear this word from me when I talk about programs, awesome. So we have senior programs. There's a facility down where the Sheriff's Department office is, Mid-Island. Sherry works down there. Recently, we have as many as up to 600 members, and really we offer, our new programs are really trips, but we do a lot of exercise classes there, socials, and other activities. We have an awesome partnership with the Computer Club. They share one of our rooms, and they have over 1,000 members. So we run senior programs out of there. It's about 3,000 square feet. We'd like to grow that a little bit, and I think as we continue with the rec center, hopefully we'll have an opportunity to do that. Youth programs, really our main opportunities to provide programs are really for youth based on our location. We have an after-school program, we have a summer camp, and those 2 programs, we can have over 125 kids on a daily basis in our after-school program, and we've maxed out. We learned from COVID. We used to take as many kids as possible in our camp programs, but that was too many. And so we do a little over 200. We were doing 250, 275, 200 is our number. And that's why, and the reason for that is that we can not only offer the kids a better experience with the new rec center, we have a lot of interaction with our members that come to work out. So we felt that that's our number. We have a wait list every year, and it's exciting to see that. But I think for the most part, we've covered that really well. Youth and adult sports, youth soccer is our #1 sport. We also do youth basketballs and bigger sport for us. We're getting back into youth football. Adults, we're really seeing adult basketball come back, but we also have volleyball that's come back. I mean, things go in cycles for us, but these are programs that we've found lately that have gone very well. We started Adaptive Rec about 5 years ago, and really we've been offering what's called the Challenge Camp, which is for special needs kids. And we've been doing that camp for over 25 years. And that's an inclusion camp program that goes with our summer camp program. But as we found that more and more parents were looking for more and more services, so we grew that. And right now we have 5 children that come to our after school program that are in our adaptive program. And it's kind of really neat to see the interactions, but we're able to help them. We hope to continue to grow that. And that's where we also have relationships with Pocket Full of Sunshine and also PEP. They come and utilize a rec center. So we're multi-programming for those opportunities. Aquatics, the only public pool in our community, year-round pool. We have the dome that goes up and over. Anybody in here go to the water aerobics or anything like that from here? So we have several people, but the pool's always busy in the morning hours. I can tell you from 9 o'clock in the morning, we have 50 ladies doing water aerobics. We have 10 people trying to lap swim, and it's busy, and it's only going to get busier in the morning hours as the summer comes, because we're going to expand into swim lessons. This year with the dome up, we're actually been able to provide year-round swim lessons. And another thing that we do is we also work with the schools to provide swim lessons to every second grader. And having the dome and year-round swimming allows us lots of lap swimmers. The pool opens at 5:30 in the morning, closes at 8 o'clock at night. So it's our kind of facility that runs the longest throughout the day, but we have lots of great activities. Community events, for those who've been to Wing Fest, the Oyster Festival, those are our 2 biggest events. We're getting ready to do summer jams and also Party in the Park, which are our summer events. But we also work with the Hilton Head Jams. We are getting ready to work with the paddle battles. We have lots of partnerships with other organizations. And we also do a lot of one-time kids events like Easter egg extravaganza. We do a pumpkin patch. We could see our #1 wing guy, Joe Kane, on the bottom there with his wing hat. So that's really what we do. Parks and Rec, I'm going to skip that. I'll come back to fitness because that's where we have the greatest relationship with residents of the plantation here. But Parks and Rec, we also, part of our agreement with the town is coordinate scheduling for all parks and parks facilities. We work with the town's facilities department very closely. We schedule the parks and then we work with the facilities to make sure that they're well maintained. And that relationship is awesome and great. Fitness is our #1 thing. Leah has a bunch of handouts. For those who don't know, we offer a really great fitness special. So I feel like it could be on The Price is Right. So, and the price is right. So we offer a great for Hilton Head Plantation members. We offer a great program over there, and that's Larry and some of the people I see here take well advantage of it. Invite you over for a tour anytime to look at the fitness. Yes, that's why The Price is Right. So, thank you. So, just call me Drew. I talked a little bit about the scholarships and the turkey trot and how it helps us. Last couple years ago, we gave over $280,000 in scholarships, mainly in our child care program. But the reality of it, without the help of the scholarship programs, the funding that we raise here through Turkey Trot and some of the events I mentioned, like Oyster Roast and others, allows us to do that every year. So what we try to tell everybody in the community, if there's a fee, we can provide you with a scholarship if you need help. And we do that to a lot of families. I talked to the new facility, 2019. This is some of the photos, but we added, now at the rec center, we doubled, almost tripled the plant size. Now have 2 gymnasiums, a walking track that goes with the fitness center upstairs. We have cardio and weight areas. We have two fitness studios upstairs and downstairs, and locker rooms and showers. I just want to mention that when the old rec center was there, we had 2 bathrooms and locker rooms. Now we have 13. So, I have a lot of happy staff members that we have 13 bathrooms, but it's kind of interesting and works out very well. We have outdoor basketball. We do pickleball in the outdoor courts at the rec. We also coordinate the ones at Old Schoolhouse Park. Adriana, we work with there. Just kind of going back to pickleball as part of our adult programming. We actually committed to that, and we hired a staff member to coordinate pickleball only. Her name is Sarah Mitten. We're very lucky to have her, but she helps us provide programs there. A couple of meeting rooms. We have a teen room that has extreme games into it. One thing that we found, we were able to get a grant from the foundation, and it was kind of unique. And we saw these teen rooms, but it says games on there, but you have to do something physically. And so we have this Game Boy that's hooked up to, and I'm probably not explaining this right, but it's hooked up to an exercise bike. And the only way you can make it work is by pedaling. And if you stop, you automatically lose and the game goes off. So, and it's kind of unique. And we also had another game, we have for your skills on, it's almost like a board. The lights come on, you have to touch, but the football team has come over and used it for their hands players. So it's kind of unique. Preschool room. We've been offering a preschool program since we opened the first building back in 1988 as a Discover Club program. We are certified by the state to have 23 kids. Right now we have about 20, and that's something that we've been providing forever, but it's really with the redevelopment of the rec center and the old gym, and it's a program that we find very valuable to us. Computer lab, we'd have to thank Palmetto Electric for that. They donated all the computers. We have e-gaming, and then of course I can't forget about the playground that's handicap accessible, and it was the first one on the island. Talked a little bit about the pool. It's 8 lanes, 25 yards. We have a little area for swim lessons. We'll probably provide over 300 kids plus for swim lessons this year. There's the locker room. For those who were here back before we built the new building, swimmers usually have to come out of the locker room, out of the dome, run outside and back into those 2 bathrooms back in the day. So now they have their own facility there now. So, and we do have a dome that goes up. We're on our 3rd generation of the dome. It allows us to have winter swimming. The water's heated, the air's heated. And we also chill the water in the summertime at the rec center pool. We try to keep that about 85 to 82 degrees. So, which is kind of unique. When I first came here, I never thought about chilling the water, but now we do that. So finally, the senior center, I talked about that a little bit earlier, but located in Mid-Island. As you can see, trips, classes, and socials are key there. But that's what we offer down there. Do you want to do questions now, or do you want to show the video?